Hey everybody, it's Elias from Drum Channel, and today I'm really excited because I get to break down one of my favorite all-time songs, and along with a song that comes from one of my favorite records, Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is the actual song that starts off the album, Around the World, and I think it really showcases Chad Smith's bombastic rock drumming, amazing style, and definitely some of his funk influences. So today we're just going to be covering a lot of what he does on the track and maybe pinpoint some subtle nuances to get the same sound that Chad Smith got, as well as go over different areas of the song and different sections of the song. So let's dig into the first part of this song, which is all the crazy hits that Chad Smith is playing, and there's a few different variations you'll see in the transcription. There's note for note what he's doing, but what I'm going to cover today is essentially the skeleton of that rhythm and how that intro interacts. So I'll break it down technically and count it out for you, and then I'll apply it to the kit and show you some of the different ways that he fills throughout those hits. So let's get started. So if we're just counting this intro out loud, it's kind of a dotted eighth rhythm with some fills in between it. So if you kind of just think of it as that, it's easier to latch onto. Eventually, I think a good idea is to be able to improvise around it, not play exactly what he does, but maybe kind of throw your own thing into it. But let's start with what he does first. So the rhythm is a dotted eighth note for the first bar. So it's 1 E and a 2 E and then he does some fills. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 3 E and a 4 E and. So if you get that rhythm in your head, that will go a long way. So the next thing is to apply it to the kit. So he's doing a crash and snare on the main parts of that dotted eighth rhythm, and he's doing kick drums in between. So the first thing I would practice is just getting this down. So you'll see in the actual recording, he does go between crash, hi-hat a few different times. So just mess around with going from your right to your left to the hi-hat, different variations while keeping the same kick drums and everything in between. So the next step would be to add some of the fills that he does in between those hits. So we're going to add what we just did and add a few other fills that he does. The first one being a flam. It's a 16th note fill, so it's 4 E and but there's a flam in the beginning, so it would go like this. So if we break that down really slow, what you're doing is a flam starting with the right hand, followed by 2 lefts, and then just right, left, right, left. So really slow, this is what it sounds like. And you can just play it on the snare at first, and eventually move your way to the tom. and then move it to the tom, like I said. So once you got that down, try to add the other hits, basically what we went over previous to this, which is the crashes with the kick drums, the main hits of that rhythm, and then adding that snare in between, like this. All right, so the next one he does is a little bit longer. It's still 16th notes, and it's basically 3 E Anna, 4 E Anna. He doesn't do a flam on this one, but he does have his right hand on open hi-hat, so it goes like this. Cool. So I added some bass drums to each downbeat, which is actually what he does on the recording. It keeps everything grounded. It keeps the momentum going. So the last part of that intro is a really cool snare fill that he does. It's pretty iconic. Like when I hear that, I think of this song. I think of Chad Smith. It starts on 3, and it's just 16th notes. But on the second 16th note, he does a double. So it's like this. He adds a little open hi-hat at the end, which I think is a really unique thing that adds to this song and makes it sound like Chad Smith. He starts it with the kick drum, and then he starts with a double. I'm doing it on the left hand. It makes more sense because it's natural sticking that the upbeat would start on a left hand. So I am doing kick, left, double left, and then right, left, right, left, right, left. So I'll demonstrate that again super slow. That's that iconic fill that goes into Flea's bass solo intro, which is super cool. One of my favorite parts of the song. So we're going to talk about the main groove of the song now. And it's a really cool groove that I'm pretty sure was definitely inspired by funk drumming. It has some intricate hi-hat stuff going on and a little bit of bass drum and snare drum syncopation. So I'll demonstrate it real quick, and then we'll break it down slower and see what each limb is doing. So really slow, this is what the hands are doing. On the and of 4, you're going to add 2 doubles on each hand. So right, right, left, left. Now let's add the bass drum, which is basically 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4. So just groove on that a while, and you can add a few different variations, maybe some extra ghost notes. You have the transcription, and you can see that there's subtle differences that he plays throughout the entire song. But yeah, that's the main function. That's the main skeleton groove of this song. The next section he goes into is the chorus, and basically it's the same exact groove, but you're going to be playing only eighth notes on your hi-hat. And one of the cool things that I think really is unique to Chad Smith's playing is his ability to play kind of like a sloshy open hi-hat, but it's like half open. And what he's doing is basically bouncing his foot on eighths. So he's kind of bouncing his foot and allowing the hi-hat to be very loose, which creates kind of like this open, sloppy, but like amazing fill. So I think a really good way to practice that is with this song. And all you're going to be doing is what we just did, just playing eighth notes on the right hand, but focus on getting that eighth note bouncing with your left foot. So you'll see my foot bouncing on all eighths. So that's a lot of fun to do. And we have another good source on Drum Channel, one of our DC instructors, Antoine Fadavi, who is actually on tour with the Red Hot Chili Peppers with his band, King Princess. So he got to really see Chad Smith every night and how he plays, and he breaks down those subtle nuances that Chad Smith does when he performs. But yeah, just definitely try to focus on getting that sloshy sound. So if you know how to slosh your hi-hat with your left hand or splash your hi-hat like this, practice going in between the full splash and kind of like a halfway splash. And that's kind of that sweet spot that tends to get this beat going. So just practice and mess around with that. I tend to open it more during the choruses, so more splash while I'm hitting it at the same time, which kind of creates more of that sound. I'll mess around with that a little bit between slightly splashing it and really splashing it, and you can kind of hear the difference here. I think if you can nail that, you're really getting into this style. You're really getting into what Chad Smith does and how he sounds, which is a great thing. He's one of the best drummers, probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite rock drummer of all time. So it's definitely a really cool thing that he does that's unique. So let's go on to the next section. So once you've gone over those three grooves, which is the entirety of the song, really, there's, I guess, one more thing you can touch on, which is the end of the song, where he starts to add a little bit more kick drum. And I played it on Ride, but he plays it on open hi-hat on the actual recording. It's basically the outro of the song. I'll play it a little bit, and I'll discuss what's different than the typical chorus groove. So that can be played either with full open hi-hat or even on the ride like this. The bass drum pattern is slightly different, so it's 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E, 2E and a 3E and. So he's really just adding a few more notes to the groove. Really slow, here it is again. So that's going to wrap up this lesson breakdown. Have fun playing this one. There's so much groove and so much you can benefit from playing this and using this play along as a tool to get better with both your groove, your time, and just really digging in and understanding what Chad Smith is doing on the recording. Remember that you have the ability to loop any sections of the song you want. You have the full transcription laid out note for note. And I think one of the really cool things about this song is that you can listen to the drums hot version, which allows you to really dig into what Chad Smith is doing and just practice along to that. Try to cop his feel. Try to dig into what he's doing, how he sounds. And it's going to help you a lot. It's going to improve your groove. So I'll see you on the next one.
I know it's you.